In an evocative ancient scene, we witness the historical journey of the Israelites as they make a dramatic escape into the interior of Africa, seeking refuge from relentless persecution. This poignant imagery brings to life their arduous passage through vast, untamed landscapes, a vivid testament to their resilience and determination. Clad in the garb of their heritage, these Israelites are seen carrying the weight of their belongings, and more importantly, the responsibility of their families, as they traverse the rugged, uncharted terrains of Africa. The backdrop is a striking canvas of natural beauty and harsh reality, towering mountains and dense forests that speak of a land untouched by time, yet fraught with the challenges of the unknown. In the faces of these travelers, there is a palpable blend of weariness and resolve. Their eyes, while reflecting the fatigue of a long journey, also burn with the hope of establishing new kingdoms, new communities where they might thrive once more. What stands out in this scene is not just the physical journey, but the spiritual and cultural odyssey that these people embark upon. Far removed from their origins, the Israelites face the daunting task of preserving their customs and beliefs in a land vastly different from their own. The absence of teachers or guides in this new world underscores their isolation, highlighting the struggle to maintain their identity in a land so far from home. This image captures more than a moment in time. It encapsulates the enduring spirit of a people determined to rebuild and retain their cultural identity against all odds. The location of the lost tribes, which were transported on cargo slave ships, is extensive. We will revisit this topic in more detail in a later class. However, for the sake of visual understanding, we will reveal the location in the Western Hemisphere. Brazil. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. Cuba.
The troubadour was trying to get to Cuba, we know that. It was trying to run a pass, a narrow 20-mile pass between the Turks Islands and the Caicos Islands. We think troubadour probably wrecked at night as an error in navigation, hit the reef and carried right over into the lagoon and sank. When it went down, it was carrying almost 200 African slaves. All of them not only survived, but they stayed in the Turks and Caicos Islands. I've always thought that the real product of archaeology is not the artifacts or the raw data, it's the story, the human story. And in this case, it's an uplifting story. It's the story of deliverance. Slavery had been banned in the Turks and Caicos Islands long before 1841, and all those people were freed. So people who were destined to spend their lives in the cane fields of Cuba ended up free. They and their descendants live there to this day.
It's a key for me as cultural officer to really ignite the spark of cultural awareness. For too many years, we have been a part of Jamaica, part of the Bahamas. Now it's our time to have our own identity. And I think the key factor here is that one ship, the troubadour.
That is one of the things I find lacking in the Turks and Caicos Islands. And as a result of that, I think we have challenges in determining or trying to find out who we are as Turks Islanders. What's our true identity? Because of that lack of knowledge, because of that lack of research into our historical past, into our heritage.
Wonderful, happy ending. They were on their way to Cuba to become slaves, to be sold off. They happened to wreck here, and because we were a freed slave nation under the British, they were given the freedom, and they became free men and women in this country.
Cuba. I will scatter them among nations that neither they nor their ancestors have known, and I will pursue them with the sword until I have made an end of them. Haiti. I swore to them in the wilderness that I would scatter them among the nations and disperse them through the countries, because they had not obeyed my laws, but had rejected my decrees and desecrated my Sabbaths, and their eyes lusted after their parents' idols. Jamaica. So they were scattered because there was no shepherd, and when they were scattered they became food for all the wild animals. My sheep wandered over all the mountains, and on every high hill. They were scattered over the whole earth, and no one searched or looked for them. Barbados. St. Kitts. Trinidad. Remember the instruction you gave your servant Moses, saying, "If you are unfaithful, I will scatter you among the nations." Guadeloupe. Martinique. The Bahamas. Grenada. St. Lucia. The Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. The whole United States. Remember the instruction you gave your servant Moses, saying, "If you are unfaithful, I will scatter you among the nations." Canada as part of British North America. They will fall by the sword and will be taken as prisoners to all the nations. Jerusalem will be trampled on by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. Mexico is part of Spanish America. I scattered them with a whirlwind among all the nations, where they were strangers. The land they left behind them was so desolate that no one traveled through it. This is how they made the pleasant land desolate. Central America is part of Spanish America. South America is part of Spanish America, French America, Dutch colonies, Portuguese America. Louisiana is part of French America. Suriname is part of Dutch colonies. Guyana partially as part of Dutch colonies. Antigua and Barbuda as part of British and French territories in the Lesser Antilles. St. Vincent and the Grenadines as part of British and French territories in the Lesser Antilles. United States Virgin Islands, formerly Danish West Indies,